questions, 5 minutes of questions. Anyone want to kick us off? The thing that really occurred to me, you mentioned clients at the end, just at the end there, but you know, are clients already bought in? Is there more work that needs to be done in terms of buying in clients to all of this, in that an agency that spends time and effort and potentially money on this might also be an agency that needs to charge them a bit more? I know it's a crude way of putting it, but I mean, to what extent are clients involved in what you do?
I think do you mean in terms of the training or more in general?
Yeah, well, more generally actually, just in a sense of buy-in to what your aims are.
I think they look to us, you know, to be the best that we can possibly be, and they're very competitive and very demanding of their agencies as well. So I think it's I would say that they just expect us to be absolutely at the top of our game, and for our people to be the best trained, the most innovative, the best skilled, having the most talent in what they need. And if we don't have that, then I think quite brutally they're prepared to go elsewhere. So I think that's something we just have to do, and they look to us to do.
Yeah. Okay, I'll throw it out. So, right down in the middle. Hold on just 1 second.
Thank you very much. In a world where the blend of creativity and technology and data, code versus creativity is the judge, if you like, for how our success is as an agency. In so many agencies, it's the world we live in, it's the Apple world, it's creative technology. Is there an issue around the educational system in this country, in the sense that, you know, and Wan, I think you sort of slightly touched on this, that there's still a tendency to believe that you're an arts person or a science person, when we know that today success is about this perfect blend, this kind of, as the IPA talked about before, you know, diagonal thinking, the lateral and the linear crossing over. And that's the kind of people you need, who are equally good at creative, at data, at code, as they are creative in the conceptual sense. To what extent is our educational system failing us in that, and able to bring people through who are a bit more renaissance and a bit more lateral and linear?
Definitely one for, well, actually, Juan and Claire. Juan, first of all.
Okay, so, I mean, this is an issue we really did touch on when we did Next Gen, where we looked at the supply of talent for the visual effects and video games industry, which were, like many other creative industries, places which are experiencing this collision, this fusion of the creative and the technology side. And, you know, we fought a battle there in terms of what goes into the curriculum. Because we felt that it was important to acknowledge creative computing as a subject that young people need to be exposed to, if only to decide that they are not interested, but many of them will be interested, and that will be great. The challenge is that once you start to put things into the curriculum, they become part of that formal structure. And the question is, how do you relate them to everything else? You know, computing is not just about computer science, it's how do you apply computing in other subjects. And I think that's a big challenge, and to some extent it has started to be addressed outside of the classroom in some cases, and we have lots of, you know, coding clubs, we have lots of hackathons happening where actually, because we have a less structured kind of environment, there's more opportunities for disciplines to collide and come together. The only concern with this, of course, is that it's maybe not as systematic as we would like it to be. You know, because it's going to depend to a great degree on the availability of volunteers, of people, you know, being willing to almost like take the lead with this thing, and sometimes it will not be so sustainable. So the question is, how do you bring that further into the curriculum? And then in universities, yeah, it's there's a sense of a big sense of silos, and this is a great concern for Nesta. You know, Nesta, when we used to be an acronym, we stood for National Endowment for Science, Technology and the Arts. And it was about all of these different things coming together and the cross-pollination that you need to have for innovation to happen. Yet we have structures for the funding of research, structures for publishing, structures for lecturing, and everything that happens at universities, which seem to be all about rewarding disciplinary proficiency. You know, and this is the reason why we have this situation where we have excellent analysts, we have excellent statisticians, we have excellent computer scientists, but in terms of people in the middle, people who combine these things, we are arguably lagging behind other countries like the US.
Okay, Claire, briefly.
Yeah, I think it's something that's definitely been recognised. If you look to some of the new qualifications, for example, like EBAC and things that are being brought in, that perfect mix, it just doesn't exist. And I think on the kind of skills side and the technology side, as I was saying earlier, there's fewer students who are going through and studying that because of a lack of teaching as well. Like a lot of the, you're a computer scientist, for example, the curriculum's just changed. It's more geared towards gaming and trying to be a lot more, I guess, kind of reflective of the type of roles that are out there at the moment. There aren't actually any teachers that are generally skilled in that because of the curriculum change, and also because when they were studying themselves, gaming and I guess the kind of diversification of computer science and technology wasn't kind of there. So you're faced with this dual challenge. There's fewer people who are teaching in schools or fewer people going on to study at university, but at the same time, with the changing curriculum, you haven't got the experts to kind of fulfil that circle that's necessary. I think one thing, just speaking about graduate recruitment as well, and this kind of challenge, is that a lot of the big employers again have noticed this, because everybody in whatever industry needs specialists in kind of STEM areas. So a lot of investment's been put into the upskilling from kind of day one at university. So from first year of university, there are a number of courses that employers will run. We do a lot of work with the career service to make sure that there is that, again, soft skills is kind of a bit of an outdated term, but to make sure that actually those that are kind of studying, there's high, I guess, high intensity in terms of contact time, because a lot of the reasons we find is because actually art students, again, complete stereotype, but smaller timetable, more opportunity to interact with societies, sports teams, you know, kind of work after or outside of their studies. Where if you're thinking about the scientists, you know, labs 9 to 5, there's fewer opportunities for that. So, and I think another thing that employers are looking at doing as well is adapting their selection process. So we've done a lot of work to look at actually what's the areas that STEM students will fall down at, thinking about actually the experiences that they had, and then the opportunity that they have to then talk about their experiences, and again thinking about our selection process, and actually are we biased or are we skewed towards those art students who've had more opportunity. So I think it's something that definitely the education sector and particularly the grad recruitment sector are definitely waking up to and see it as our role to help.
A round of applause please for all three of our speakers. Thank you very much.